Can you feel the energy? Let's talk about the Oscars. So here in Italy, the Oscars actually began at around midnight or 12:30 a.m. And then it went on until 3:30-ish in Italy. And you can already see I didn't get enough sleep, but I'm so hyped to talk about the Oscars. I already have my mug of tea. It's a very light pink. And I tried my best. This is the only Barbie themed thing that I have. This is as pink as I can get. Anyway, I have my tea. Let's talk about the Oscars. I'm gonna begin with the writing, original screenplay. So the nominees were Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. Well, as we all know, Anatomy of the Fall won. Not that I disliked the movie, but it wasn't on the top of my list, as you may or may not have seen my top 10 favorite movies of the past year. It's okay. I'm okay with what they have chosen, but if I wanted to give the award to any of these ones, I would have given it to either Past Lives or The Holdovers. Maybe Past Lives, because it could have had a better chance winning in this category rather than the other ones. Then writing for adapted screenplay. The nominees were American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. American Fiction won, and I am very happy with that choice, actually. That is very well deserved. I think American Fiction had a very good, amazing, brilliantly written screenplay. Then for the best visual effects, it was between Godzilla -1, The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible, and Napoleon. I would have given it to the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm happy that they have given it to Godzilla -1. I haven't seen Godzilla -1, but I will see it because I know it got a lot of buzz, and I was so happy for the team. Also, they did them so ugly that they had to cut them when they were talking. It's not right. What the hell? Then for the sound, it was between The Zone of Interest, The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer. To be honest with you, either of these would be okay. It's not that I didn't care, but The Zone of Interest is a good choice because the whole film was about the sound. Sound was a big deal. A big part of that movie. It had the biggest impact. You know what? If it could have gone to Mission Impossible, I would have been happy too. So animated short film, it's usually the category that I usually don't talk about. Maybe I will check those animated shorts later on, but it's not something that I get to instantly. But I saw that among the nominees for this year, which was called Our Uniform by Yegane Moghadam, and I kind of rooted for it because I'm biased, actually, as you may understand. She is an Iranian artist, and Our Uniform was actually a kind of a true story, not a kind of, it actually is 100% true story about our uniforms that we used to wear when we were students in Iran and our schools. The obligatory uniform that we had to wear. And I think she told the story brilliantly. Artistic-wise and craftsmanship-wise, it was brilliantly done. But I think the others, I assume that the winner, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, was also a good choice. I haven't seen it, so I cannot comment on any of the other ones. I've just seen Our Uniform, and that's why I have a little bit of a bias. I really recommend you to check it out because it's amazing and it's something I think people should know about. Then we'll get to production design. It's Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. I'm happy, I guess. Like I'm okay with their choice that they've given it to Poor Things. If they have given it to Barbie, I would have been maybe a bit happier, because to be honest, I think Barbie didn't deserve the kind of, let's call it hate, or maybe hate is a strong word, I don't know, that they got. Also, Napoleon had a great production design, so like either Napoleon, Barbie, or Poor Things, and they gave it to Poor Things, okay, I guess. Like, it's fine. They did a good job. They did an amazing job. All right, the next category is music original song. We all know the winner was What Was I Made For, which I'm super happy. I love that song. It makes me cry, and it's deep. It has a lot of meanings. I'm so happy. But the other nominees were Just Can, The Fire Inside, It Never Went Away, and the song from the Killers of the Flower Moon, which I cannot pronounce, but its other name is A Song for My People. I'm not gonna butcher that name. Yeah, I'm happy that What Was I Made For won. Also, the performance for I'm Just Can. It was amazing. It was the highlight of the night. It was the best thing about last night. I loved it. Also, kudos to Ryan Gosling. This guy is amazing. All right, so next up is music original score. It was Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things. And Oppenheimer won. I think I'm okay with that choice. I think I am happy. I think American Fiction and Poor Things were also good choices, but Oppenheimer had a very amazing score too. And then for makeup and hairstyling, the nominees were Poor Things, Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Society of the Snow. I thought Maestro would win this, but to my surprise, Poor Things got it. It's okay. I'm okay with the choice. I think they did an amazing job, actually. Between Poor Things, Maestro, and Society of the Snow, I would have given it to either of these three. Poor Things is a good choice. But it would have been nice if they just gave each film at least one. It would have been more strategic. And then for the international feature film, it's The Zone of Interest, Io Capitano, Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, The Teacher's Lounge. I have watched The Zone of Interest. I still haven't watched Io Capitano. I will, but I still haven't. I have watched Society of the Snow. I think that movie is amazing. And I have watched 1 hour of Perfect Days, because the second, in halfway through the movie, I fell asleep. Sorry. It wasn't my mug of tea. I will watch it. It just was too slow for me. But yeah, they given it to The Zone of Interest. I could totally see that. I'm not sure if I would have given it to The Zone of Interest. Maybe I would have given it to Society of the Snow, actually. I love that film. But The Zone of Interest is a very good film as well. Don't get me wrong. It has a very different and unique approach to genocide and to what happened in Auschwitz. Next, we'll get to film editing. The nominees were Oppenheimer, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things. Well, Oppenheimer won, but I wouldn't have given it to Oppenheimer. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not that I'm unhappy about it. Like, technically, it's a very good movie. I would have given it to probably The Holdovers or Anatomy of a Fall, actually. So I don't think that they needed this. Again, spread the love, Just don't give all the awards to one film. I don't think that's fair. I think each film, if they're nominated, they also should be appreciated to what they have done and what they have achieved. Let's get to directing. The nominees were Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Personally, I would have given it to Justine Triet, although I didn't love the movie, but I think how she approached screenplay in the story and how the whole thing came together was amazing. So yeah, I would have given it to her rather than Christopher Nolan. Oh my god. This is not gonna end well for me. I'm a big fan of Nolan. Like, since I was a teenager, I used to watch his movies growing up. So, he's great, but this is the wrong movie. That's my point. There were some creative choices in Oppenheimer that I didn't like at all. The perspective and point of view of the people who were actually damaged by the bomb were completely ignored. Like, we completely left out a huge part of history, and I had to connect with this unlikable person who created the atomic bomb. And it was tough for me. Like, I couldn't get the point. I really would have rather to see at least a very few scenes to what happened to Japan. Like, we all know what happened to Japan, but I would have wanted to see it in the film because that is the huge and important part of the history. So I didn't like the approach to the story. That's why I wouldn't have given it to Christopher Nolan. But again, this was his year. It was his night. Sure. Then for costume design, the nominees were Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. Well, the winner is Poor Things, but I probably would have given it to Napoleon because recreating costumes for a specific era in history is a tough thing to do. Especially we're talking about the era when the cameras weren't still invented. So all you have are paintings. I think that is a tough job to do. So again, I would have spread the love. I would have given it to Napoleon. If not Napoleon, because I know people love to hate Napoleon. And for reasons, I can understand that. Give it to Barbie. Why not Barbie? I'm not saying that Poor Things didn't deserve it. I think Poor Things is a very well crafted film. But since it has already won and it will win another major award, I would have given it to another film, honestly. And then cinematography. The nominees were Oppenheimer, El Conde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Poor Things. Oppenheimer won. It's well deserved, but maybe I would have given it to Maestro or Poor Things. Maestro, I have my reasons. I think Maestro is actually, the best thing about the movie is its cinematography, if I'm being honest with you. The opening shot that is in black and white, and he runs through like one stage to another stage, it's just amazing. That sequence on its own deserves the best cinematography. But either Poor Things, I was also astounded by Poor Things cinematography as well. So either one of those two, but Oppenheimer was also good too. Next up, my favorite category, it's Best Animated Feature. It was The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The only one that I haven't still watched is Robot Dreams. I have to watch that, but the other ones I have. I love them. I would have given it to Spider-Man, actually, because The Boy and the Heron wasn't Miyazaki's best, but I can understand the choice. I'm happy that Nimona is there. You may or may not know, on the list of my top 10, Nimona was my second favorite film of the year, and Spider-Man was my first. So I love those two. And then The Boy and the Heron, I think it was fifth or something. So it was up there, but it wasn't the best. Because again, I think script-wise, it wasn't the best, but visually, it's Miyazaki at his best. And then next up, actress in supporting role. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, and Jodie Foster for Nyad. I am super happy, actually. I loved The Holdovers. I loved her performance, So I'm super happy. Then, actress in a leading role. Emma Stone for Poor Things, Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, and Carey Mulligan for Maestro. They gave it to Emma Stone. The huge surprise of the night. I think that's the one. I honestly thought they're gonna give it to Lily Gladstone. My god, was that a huge surprise. And you could see that on Emma Stone's face. I think it's well deserved though, because she was although I wasn't a huge fan of Poor Things. I had some issues with the script again and how the story was told. But Emma Stone was great. Oh, Lily Gladstone was great too. Not that she wasn't amazing, she is amazing. Also Sandra Hüller. I don't know, I'm confused on this. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to comment on this one. Next up, actor in supporting role. Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Thing. They gave it to Robert Downey Jr. In my opinion, it's well deserved. I'm actually quite happy with this one. But I also loved Sterling K. Brown's performance. Next up, actor in leading role. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Cillian Murphy won for Oppenheimer, but in all honesty, I would have given it to Paul Giamatti. That would have been my choice. Not that Cillian Murphy isn't great. He's amazing in the role. But I think Paul Giamatti was a scooch better. Also, it was his time to get an Oscar. That's just my thought. And the last one, the biggest prize of the award. Best Picture. First, let me just say this. Why are there so many movies nominated for Best Picture? Like, there are a lot of them. Make your list shorter. The nominees were Oppenheimer, American Fiction and Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. We all know who won, right? Okay, so because we live on the same planet. So Oppenheimer won. I don't agree with that choice. I'm gonna say it quite clearly. Again, this will probably end badly for me. I appreciate Oppenheimer for what it is, but I don't agree with this. Which movie would I have chosen? Probably American Fiction. Or The Holdovers. Like one of these two. I'm not sure which exactly. For me, it's either American Fiction for the Best Picture or The Holdovers. I love The Holdovers. I absolutely adore that movie. The thing is, in general, if I want to be super clear with you, I think other movies, other type of movies that people actually go to the cinema to watch it need to be here. They still don't spread the love. I think that's a huge issue. By the way, I watched it on the national television, the national channel for Italy, Rai Uno, and they were some experts, quote unquote, and they didn't know what they were even talking about. They were bad at their job, like genuinely. I was cursing at the TV with my flatmate, and my flatmate was laughing at me, shouting and cursing at those experts that were on the TV saying stuff about the movies. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Honestly, I don't know. I think they just got some people from their family members and they were like, are you interested to go on national TV and talk about the movies? And the family member was like, yeah, sure. Get me on the telly. But it was a fun night because we got two amazing performances for I'm Just Ken and What Was I Made For? The two highlights of the night, which made the night for many people. And then there were some funny bits that made people laugh. Especially the John Cena part. That part was amazing. Every year is like that. There's some stuff that not everybody will like, and it's totally normal. It's something that always happens. Again, you cannot satisfy everyone, and it's totally fine because people will always have their own opinion. That's why we are different as individuals, because we have different opinions, and different states of mind, and, you know, different brains. And I think that's cool. But I still think that the Academy should work on some stuff. There's still a lot that they can catch up on. So this was my analysis of the 96th. Wait.
A few moments later.
Yeah, it's 96th Oscar. So tell me, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with the stuff that I said? What was your take or opinion about the night last night? Sorry for my Dune Part 2 review is late. I was actually doing some research for it. I had to make sure about some stuff, and I wanted to be a different kind of review. Do you remember my Napoleon review? It had a bit of a cinema history in it. So I wanted my Dune Part 2 review to be unique as well. Hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you're a cinephile, and if you have high hopes and huge dreams, I hope you'll get your Oscar one day. This is my toy Oscar, which was given to me on my graduation day. So, yeah. And until the next time, bye.